everybody, welcome to Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. 65 laps of Super Speedway 2-3 wide racing at this 33 degrees of banking Talladega. Right here on Turn 1, it's the Sim 500 Sunday Night Thunder crew. We're glad to be with you. Tyler Dalton starting on the pole tonight. That driver looking for a good run here tonight at Talladega, the 19 machine. Jeff Ryan, Wesley Donaldson, Chad Coleman, Brian Wortman rounding out your top five. As we take a step back there we go. Kevin DeBrown, JP Phillips, Justin Fuller, Vincent Guerrero, Nelson Rivera, Anthony Calatoni. Your front five rows. We got a lot of field here tonight, folks, but it is going to be a good one. I'm really excited to be here. One of my favorite racetracks, one of the best super speedways, bar none, and it's going to be a good time. We're glad you're here. Make sure you sit back and tighten those recliners a little bit because we're getting ready to go racing. Green flag. Racing action. As our spotter calls it there, Tyler Dalton gets it rolling, and the green flag is out here at Talladega. Rolling off into 3 and 4, 1 and 2 for the first time here tonight. 2 by 2 by 2 for about 8-10 rows deep. We have 47 cars on track tonight. A little bit of a hiccup there with the setup, but that's okay. More action all over the racetrack to cover. Tyler Dalton has already fallen back to 5th. Donaldson leading the charge on the bottom. Brian Wortman has the push here as they come through the tri-oval for the first time here tonight and come across the stripe to complete lap 1. Wesley Donaldson is going to be your leader. Two by two again. 10 rows back down the backstretch. These ARCA machines starting to get up to speed. Donaldson leading on the bottom. Here comes on the outside line. That's JP Phillips. He's in the 34. He's got a lot of help from the 22 there. That's Nelson Rivera on that outside line. They're tied up now. Phillips is going to squeak out about a car length on the outside, but he's not going to move down. Trying to get Nelson Rivera clear. 2 cars clear on that outside. Are they going to shut the door? Now 3 cars. All of a sudden, Wesley Donaldson slides back. And a new leader this lap, JP Phillips. Looks like, I believe that was Justin Fuller that moved down to lead that that inside line. That is Fuller. Looking to take charge on the bottom. Phillips still has a big head of steam out back. He's got several cars with the push. But here comes Fuller on the inside. That's Donaldson right there with him as well. It's going to be a drag race down here through the tri-oval. Fuller is going to have the lower line advantage. Who's going to lead this lap? Oh, it's going to be Fuller. That's 3 for 3. 3 different leaders since the green flag drop as we come to lap 4 here tonight for the Sunday Night Thunder Sim 500 coverage right here on Turn 1. This field's starting to break up a little bit, about 15 cars in this front pack. Then you see that long trail of cars back there. These super speedway races require you to think smart. You've got to be really wise with where you are to ensure you're there when it matters most on that white flag lap for a chance to bring home the checkered. Fuller's leading. He's got a strong run on the bottom. That's Donaldson and Wortman right in line with him. It doesn't look like anybody's going to challenge that outside, or at least Phillips is not going to get there in time. And Fuller's going to break the chain of new leaders every lap. He's going to lead the lap or the completion of lap number 4. We're going all the way to 65 here tonight. I suspect we will see at least 2 stops for fuel in these ARCA machines tonight. Tires won't play much of a factor, but fuel certainly can, especially on these longer green flag runs. These super speedway races, if you're unfamiliar, require a little bit of tact. You got to have a partnership. You've got to have a friend, and not only to pit with, but to race with. As you can see, these drivers are 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, nose to tail throughout most of the field, as Phillips is going to challenge on the outside. He's got the 22 Rivera right there with him, and Phillips is going to retake the lead here as they come across the stripe. But you've got to have a partner with you, either drafting and being a great pusher and knowing where the car is going to be perfect for you to get right to the bumper, give you that little boost of speed, or you need to be the driver that's leading the push. Right now, JP Phillips is leading the push on the outside. Fuller's leading the push on the inside of those 2 pairings. And those 2 drivers, they just got to hang on for the ride. They got to be communicating with the driver back behind them. Hey, bud, you're doing a great job. Stay right to the bumper. Let's keep tight. And as you see these runs, this outside line started to get here tonight. Don't think we're the only ones noticing that. A lot of this field is going to see it is possible with the right partnerships and the right pairings for that outside, that middle line to really be a factor here. And we know these ARCA machines get those runs each and every week on the iRacing service. So something to pay close attention to. But none of that matters right now. Outside of needing the drafting help, everybody's kind of a free-for-all. You're out there mingling. This is like speed dating 101 for the next 50 laps or so. Then things will start getting serious. You got to realize, or you got to figure out who's going to be left to tango with at the end of the night. Who are you going to take home? But really, is who you're going to take to victory lane. Coming to the completion of lap number 7, these cars rolling out of 4. And there you see that 3rd line starting to appear. And that, I believe, that is Josh Workhart on the outside. He's coming out of nowhere. We see a lot of this out of that 1 car. John oftentimes can build those runs pretty strong. And he's got the 19, our pole sitter, Tyler Dalton, right there with him. Again, the outside line starting to play a factor here. And Talladega is a great place to see that outside line come to fruition. There's a lot of room to move here. As Schwarkart's going to move down the drivers that were in that middle line, that was Phillips and Rivera. They moved down to the bottom. Fuller fell way behind. And now, Schwarkart trying to control both lines down the backstretch. Now that outside line blends, or that very outside line blends in the middle. Went from 3 lines to 2. Schwarkart leading the outside. Phillips leading the inside. As these cars load off the banking. The 1 car, about half a car length, in the lead here. And he's in a good spot there. Through the tri-oval, that inside line, there's a lot of bumps you can't see down there just under that, that bottom line. You hit those bumps and it unsettles the car, and just a little bit of speed is taken away if you don't have somebody right with you. And ultimately can play a factor in how you handle and what's going on with that bottom line. And ultimately, Schwarkart was able to maintain. He had a little bit of a run and able to maintain the lead. Now he's going to move down to the bottom as they come down the backstretch. There's a car about to go a lap down. He's going to wisely move down to the bottom. He did not want to have to be the ping pong ball in the 3rd lane. And here comes JP Phillips. Schwarkart tried to shut the door on the inside, but no, sir. Phillips on the outside. He still maintains the help. It looks like now Tyler Dalton was with him, but now Phillips is in trouble. He's in the middle going nowhere. All by his lonesome, and just like that, you can have a partner or you get stuck in the middle and go backwards. Phillips all the way back past 10th place in 1 corner here at Talladega. Now on that outside line, Tyler Dalton leads. I don't normally say a driver is due. Nobody's due. You have to race for everything on track. But I tell you what, Tyler Dalton in that 19 car, he's a fast driver, a really smart driver at that, but has been caught up in so much drama, so many incidents that really were not of his making. We've seen him have a ton of flashes of speed in that 19, but has not been able to cap it off, not been able to shut the door on a victory. He's going to lead that lap as they come to 11. Tyler Dalton qualified on the pole. And if you're not in the front, you want to be in the way back to stay out of trouble here at Talladega. Right now, Tyler Dalton is on the front row. Again, I want to welcome everybody to Turn 1's live coverage here tonight of the Sim 500 Sunday Night Thunder Crew. Right here on Turn 1 Broadcasting, I'm Sean Fitz as they come to complete lap number 11. Josh Workhart on the bottom in that one machine, trying to lead a lap. He drove all the way around the hard way on that third line and was able to move down and had a little bit of a challenge from JP Phillips, but was able to stay in line there on the bottom. And he's got Nelson Rivera right with him. Tyler Dalton on the outside. I believe that's Mike Kelly right there with him as well. And then that third line starting to come into the picture again. I believe that is Paul Crumry leading the charge. That's a 29 car. That is, in fact, Crumry. Holland the Mel on the outside. He's got a line of 6. And all of a sudden, you've got 20-plus cars right here. You can throw a blanket over them as they come down this tri-oval here at Talladega. I would not be Tyler Dalton. I don't know what happened. That inside line getting swallowed quick. Tyler Dalton sliding back now. Really, that inside line is dissolving. Almost like the third line can pull so much air off the draft. We've seen that happen before a few laps ago, but now that middle line pretty much disintegrated. Tyler Dalton moving backwards in a hurry. I would not be a great broadcaster if I did not mention the Talladega Tri-Oval. What's unique about it? Well, obviously this Talladega racetrack is very fast. 33 degrees of banking, a lot of speed here, but the start-finish line is not where you think. As these drivers head off into the Tri-Oval, right down there through the bottom of the quarter, they don't get in the start-finish line until way down here, halfway to turn 1. That gives these drivers, that gives those finishes a little bit more flash at the end of this. You can't just bet on just the Tri-Oval. You've got another, I believe it's another 350 feet or more to protect all the way to the start-finish line. Halfway down there to turn 1, and a lot of moves can be made before you get there. See several cars this lead pack is caught up with, and there's a car down on the apron. That is one of those. That car is going to go a lap down, but ultimately what's going on there is these drivers are starting in the rear. They want to start in the back. They didn't qualify, and they've lost this draft. And just like that, within 14 laps, you've lost the draft, you've lost all the speed, and these drivers up here running in these bigger packs are going to be 5, 6, 7, 8 miles an hour faster. And that'll definitely make a difference over a couple minutes, and you're seeing that there. Ultimately, your plan to start in the back puts you a lap down. Now, with that being said, tires are not as much of a factor here at Talladega. You can run, some of these drivers could and may try to run the full length without a tire change, and it's possible. What you can't do is without fuel, but Talladega produces a lot of cautions, or has a tendency to be able to push a lot of cautions. That's Tyler Dalton. I'm sorry, Justin Schwerkart is going to have to lead them around that inside line, around a lap car. That's going to cause a little bit of hubbub there through the field. But what that lap car did was broke up that pack a little bit, slowed them down just enough for them to be able to catch up. Not quite there yet as they run 4 wide through the Tri-Oval. Some of these drivers really clinched up there, but they made it through safely. But ultimately, these super speedways had the tendency to draw cautions. And so being a single lap down, as long as you're hooked up with the draft, is not as much of a factor as you think it would be. And being able to be out front, or be able to be with this pack here, is a good place to be, especially if the caution come out. You can take a wave around, potentially come down and get a splash of fuel and be right back in the fight. The fight has died down at the front row, speaking of, in the first 10 cars, single file. That's John Surkart, Nelson Rivera, Justin Fuller, Wesley Donaldson, Joey Jatina, Brent Scott, Alan Wild, Brian Workman, Tyler Dalton, and Alex Grog. Your top 10. Tyler Dalton's back there as well, just kind of hovering at 10th. Paul Crumry, Kevin DeBrown, and Hudson Guerrero making up 13th, but it is essentially a free-for-all in these packs, and they're back hard racing. Again, here comes that third line. Coming, trying to form back up. The one car, several laps up. We're going to call it, what? We'll call it 6 laps ago. Drove up to the front and is continuing to drive hard here on the bottom. That driver, the one machine, has got that car full throttled out here as they work their way around Talladega. He's got his foot through the floorboard. Everybody behind him is trying to feather the throttle a little bit, not push the issue. As you see Rivera glued tight to the bumper of the one, that just shows you how fast they are. While we've got an opportunity, let's ride on board with somebody. Let's take 4th place. The 91, that's Wesley Donaldson. Let's ride on board with him as he makes some laps here around Talladega.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Caution out for the first time on the racetrack. And we're taking a look through the scoring here to find out who this involves. Looks like Logan Coger, Anthony Calatoni involved. He's already back up to speed. Let's take a quick look and find out what brought out the yellow here for the first time tonight. Calatoni there on the bottom. Oh, Coger just came down. And there is a ton of drivers incredibly lucky with that caution. That was right there towards the rear of the pack, but still a lot of cars involved. And that is going to shake some stuff up as we're under caution for the first time tonight here at Talladega. John Schwarkart leads. Nelson Rivera, Justin Fuller, your top 3 here on lap number 20. And I imagine we'll see some drivers come down pit road and top off with fuel as they get caught up with the pace track. We're going to step aside for just a moment. You're watching Turn 1. After pit stops, pace truck's going to be off. Schwarkart, Rivera back on the front rows. They get ready to get back. Green flag racing here. Lap number 23. Down into the restart zone they go. Green flag back out here at Talladega. What a great start by the one of Schwarkart. I think he intended for Rivera to come with him, but he did not change lanes. Donaldson now. You're going to take that spot from Rivera and move up to the bumper of the one. Donaldson leading the charge on the outside. Here comes Fuller. And outside with a big push with Fuller out there. It also looks like, who is that? Brent Scott's up there. And they're going to come across the stripe. New leader, Wesley Donaldson. Oh, and another caution out. Looks like Doug Sigmund may have had an issue. Taking a look for him. Oh, and it looks like several drivers involved. Stoney Benfield. And a couple others slow here. And I think Sigmund had to tow completely. It looks like several drivers involved. Let's take a look back here. I think this may have started with the 04. Let's find out. No, it looks like Doug just slowed down on the bottom, so did not really involve him. Let's see if we can get a better view of this. Let's take a look here at the 75. Oh! Looks like a driver came up and a couple of them just made contact there. They spit it off into one. Couple drivers tried to avoid. Oh no! And it looks like several drivers going to be involved with that. Joe Hudson, Stoney Benfield, Jeff Ryan, Bill Schoonover went through the grass there and tried to avoid. He got collected in it. Jeff Hollingsworth also involved. And that's going to bring the caution out here for the second time tonight at Talladega. Cautions breed cautions. And that is not only true, but very real at these super speedway races. Behind the pace truck, the field is on lap number 25. Closing in on the halfway point already for tonight's Sunday Night Thunder event on turn one. Wesley Donaldson leads. We'll step aside. We'll be right back. Back live here at Talladega as the pace truck leads them under caution for the second time tonight for the Sunday Night Thunder group right here on turn 1. Hello, everybody. I'm Sean Fitz. This group's closing in on near the halfway point, but you know what is going to be just as exciting as lap 1 to the very end tomorrow night. The qualifying races for the Independence 500. You can find them live here tomorrow evening starting at 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central. Right here on turn 1, we have 2 races in the LCQ for the big event that's going to happen next Sunday evening. Right here, the Independence 500. I do believe there may be a couple spots left. I'm not even sure. They may be flat full at this point, but if you want to find out more information, head on over to sim500.com and take a look. The Independence 500, 1 week from this evening, right here on turn 1. Hey, Seth Bowdy, we see you in the chat, bud. Thanks so much for being here. And 10, we see you as well. Thanks so much for tuning in to turn 1. It's going to be a great show here tonight if we get another green flag run running. These drivers have been pretty well behaved so far tonight, but as these laps continue to tick on, I imagine the action's going to tick up just as much. Those pace truck lights are off. They're getting ready to go back. Green flag racing. This 2.7 mile racetrack known as Talladega Super Speedway. 33 degrees of baking, and each corner leads to a lot of action, and you're in the right place. If you haven't already done so, make sure, if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you are, please do us a favor. Like or subscribe to our account. We appreciate the massive support. Over on YouTube, we're up to 120 subscribers. Would love to see that. 125, 130 before the night's out. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't done so, please give us a couple likes. We see some thumbs over there. So please give us those thumbs up. It means a lot to us, and it shows the support. Same over on Facebook. We see some folks over there reacting and sharing the stream. If you haven't already done so, please like the page. Make sure you're notified anytime we go live with more racing action right here on turn 1. Pace truck's gonna head down pit road. Wesley Donaldson is going to lead that inside of row 1. Justin Fuller that outside line. Back here, the green flag is out. We're back racing at Talladega. Clean start up front. Matter of fact, Fuller. It's a drag race as they roll through 1 and 2. Schwartz's going to move to the high line. He's going to commit to the 51. And Fuller in that Toyota Camry trying to make a move to the high line. Meanwhile, Wesley Donaldson has been cycled back now. He's all the way back to 6th. That inside line did not get rolling as good as the outside did, as these cars thunder past that camera on the backstretch. Fuller's going to lead. He's going to bring everybody down to the bottom. He's got Brent Scott, and Paul Crumry right there with him. Shortcut on the outside, still trying to make something happen, but it's going to be the 51 leading through the tri-oval. And Justin Fuller is going to be your leader. Side by side, these rows go. This is pretty much the top 15 right here. All in a pack, and it's split off by a little bit. Then the rest of the field is Crumry. Gets a screaming run up down the backstretch on that outside line. He's going to move down. Schwartz's going to continue to drive that outside line. He's going to have Rivera with him. Now the outside line. Really starting to get that run. We've seen that be a factor here tonight. Crumry leading on the bottom, Schwartz on the outside. It's going to be Crumry as they come across the stripe. Free and clear as they roll through 1 and 2 here. Back up to speed in these ARCA machines. After the green flag coming back out. Everybody should be good on fuel here all the way, I'm going to call it to lap 55. But I do believe they're going to have to stop one more time as Crummery gets turned. That's going to be across the field. Massive, massive big one here. Several drivers that were in the front involved, and that started with Paul Crummery. Everybody has to take evasive maneuvers, but this may take out a lot of fast drivers. Huge wreck here on lap number 31. Let's go back to Paul Crummery. This is where it all started. Down into 3 and 4. He gets turned off the nose of Fuller. They try to save it. Crummery just comes back up the track. Really nothing he could do there. And honestly, that could have been a lot worse. Alex Grog is going to be involved, unfortunately. I think that's going to be mostly the end of the 3. I think he's got, yeah, he is missing a good portion of the nose of that car. I think he ends up having to tow it. Looks like the right front's pulled out of that. James Durr, I believe, went down pit road. I think he's got a ton of damage. And Crummery, actually, all things considered, obviously, he's got that right front pretty crunched up. Left front, too. Well, that car's a little more squared off than it looked like. But, man, what an incident. And we're so lucky the rest of the field did not get collected. Crummery spins off the nose of the 51 to bring out the caution from the lead. Here on lap 31, Justin Fuller was the driver pushing Crummery there, and that shows you what can happen if you misalign these cars just a little bit. As we see the whole field come down, this may get some drivers within the fuel window. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we see everybody heading down pit road once again. And Troy Haight elects to stay out. Thomas Hackett also stays out. Dan Denayer is also going to remain out, at least currently. They both back down pit road lap 20, pretty much with the rest of the field. As we see Schwerkart there. First off pit road. Couple drivers taking tires, but Schwerkart being, Schwerkart being the first driver off pit road. That was a 6.3 second stop in the box. That's to top off on fuel. Some of these drivers may try to make it the rest of the way here tonight as we are under caution once again, lap number 32. We're going to come back to you live right around the halfway point of tonight's race. Right now, Troy Haight at 46 continues to lead, or is the new leader. You're watching Turn 1. 17 here at Talladega. After pit stops and that caution came out. Troy Haight, Nelson Rivera, Thomas Hazlett up front. As they work to get back up to speed. Now that 3x3 back there, third on back. The 46 trying to hang on to it here on the bottom. Here comes John Schwarkart around the outside with Brent Scott. What a run there. Out of the 1 and the 33. A ton of momentum as they come across the stripe to complete lap number 30 or 34, coming to 35. Officially past the halfway point of tonight's Sunday Night Thunder event right here on turn 1. Oh, under caution again. We've got several cars spun down the backstretch, and they're still wrecking. The 96, the 57. Oh no, EJ O'Rourke, Thomas Hazlett. A couple of these drivers stayed out. Let's go back here and take a look. What happened here? Oh, the 19 made contact. Tyler Dalton. That sent several cars spinning. Nowhere to go for a lot of these drivers. And now it's going to bring out the caution. That was a big one. And that was back towards the rear of the field. Bringing out the caution once again. John Schwarkart out front. Brent Scott, Nelson Rivera, Wesley Donaldson, Troy Haight, Tyler Dalton, Zachary Foudy, Mike Kelly, Tyler McGehee, and Robert Tucker, your top 10. Hey, Paul, thanks for jumping in the chat tonight. Yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying. Not good to bump draft. They get great runs, it seems, but man, is it tough. For sure, it seems to hang on to them here at Talladega tonight, but that's okay. And by the way, we see the last name. We appreciate that. I saw the I. I know Crumry looks, is typically with a Y, so thank you for that heads up. And I know it for the future, because I'm sure we'll be calling you up front many times more before the end of this season here, as we do almost once a week. But thank you for that, and thanks for tuning in. As the 46 is going to head down pit road. Joe Hudson in the 49. He's going to pit from 10th. Daniel Miller, Stephen Miles, Ricky Barbary, and a couple others all going to come down pit road for service. And I think some of these drivers, again, came down pit road betting on the caution and the fuel mileage to play out. And this caution here is certainly going to help them. Basically, to make the math easy, you're going to gain a lap for every lap you're under caution. So essentially, it's you take a lap under caution, you gain another one. And at this point, they're going to go back green flag racing with about 25 to go. So I imagine some of these drivers that came down pit road lap 31, they're probably in a really good spot. That includes Schwarkart, Scott, Donaldson, Rivera, Dalton, Foudy, Kelly, McGehee, Guerrero. David Pearson also came down 31. Another driver that's really settled there is Robert Tucker. Came down here on lap 36. He's actually the first car off pit road for this pit cycle. And it looks like Brian Wortman, Randy Yoakum all came down on lap 32, so maybe elected to take a little bit of a splash there to that last one. Either way, we're under caution once again. The one of John Schwarkart is up 14 places on the night. And in the lead, you're watching turn one. Pace truck lights are off. They're getting ready to go back. Green flag racing here. And that's Swerkart on the front row. Brent Scott, Nelson Rivera, Wesley Donaldson. Tyler Dalton was working his way back up to 5th. We'll have to pay close attention to that 19. Maybe a little bit of damage on the right side. Don't know. We'll find out. So we're going to go back green flag racing. I think this will mark. I'm sorry, I was wrong about that. Not 25 to go. It's going to be 27. And the green flag's back out. Free and clear. They get rolling on the inside. Outside lane pretty much dissolves here on this early restart. That's okay, as actually really the whole top 10 kind of settles down. And we saw Pro Crumry mentioned in the chat that these cars are not easy to bump draft with. We've seen that. We've seen a lot of these drivers get a little nervous, a little unsteady. Wow, what a drive on the outside. Is that JP Phillips by himself getting a run? It is. That may have been off a push of somebody, but he's going to stall out there without much help. The bump draft, though, not really as easy to do here in the car. Probably not feeling as settled. And now, several of these drivers, everybody's kind of minding their P's and Q's here on this restart, where the 1 comes across the stripe leading, coming to lap 40. A lap car as these drivers try to squeeze by. Looks like Zachary Foudy on the outside is going to pop off that bottom line, trying to give the 1 car a run for his money, and he's going to. Zachary Foudy to the point, but he's going to have to block some runs. Oh, he's going to slow up that outside line. That checks up the whole field. He's moving up, now moving to the bottom. Foudy trying to control the whole pack. Almost near disaster on that outside. He's going to move to the middle. Everybody having to check up behind him. What a bump draft by Donaldson. Foudy trying to control. Now he's got the whole pack mixed up. But he's not going to be able to do it for long. Here comes Donaldson on the inside. Donaldson's going to bring, who is that? Pedro Mojica with him. And then here comes the one of Swerkart Foudy in the middle. He's by himself. Oh, who is that? Is that Logan Coger? That is Logan. On that outside line, he's got picked up JP Phillips. I say Coger with a little bit of surprise because we've seen him be involved in those incidents, but maybe not a lot of damage on that car. Oh, he's going to turn Phillips. Phillips is going to go for a run back across the field. Somebody gets airborne and the caution's out. All but 1 car squeezed by through there. And I don't know who that was, but they went for a ride off the front of JP Phillips. Let's take one more look at that. That was off the nose here of Logan Coger. Phillips there, sideways down the backstretch. He's trying to lock it down. Oh! Who was that? Was that the 21? It was a David Pearson. Tore the nose off that car. That's going to bring the caution out once again. With the double or with the 80 car of Logan Coger up front. That machine looks pretty clean, I'm not going to lie. Mike Kelly, Vincent Guerrero with Zachary Foudy up there, kind of split up that front pack quite a bit. Everybody was had to check up and move around quite a bit. So some new names up here. Pedro Mojica is going to restart 4th unless he comes down pit road. Brent Scott, Zachary Foudy, Wesley Donaldson, Daniel Miller, Glenn Campbell, John Swerkart, your top 10. Wow, the action's heating up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching Turn 1. Welcome back to Turn 1 Broadcasting. Hello, I'm Sean Fitz. I'm glad to have you here as the Sunday Night Thunder Sim 500 group get ready to go back green flag racing. It's going to be a 20-lap run to the end. Fuel mileage increasingly becoming not an issue. Several drivers up here in this front pack came down pit road lap 31. That's Mike Kelly, Vincent Guerrero, Seth Valdi, Wesley Donaldson. Looks like Nelson Rivera, John Shortcart as well as part of that group. So really the half of the top five have been out there since lap 31, and I think they're going to be okay on fuel. We'll see how this all plays out, but it has been chaos here tonight. These ARCA machines not aligning just right, causing a little bit of chaos, but also too, some of these drivers just not exhibiting a whole lot of patience and driving pretty aggressively, and that's super speedway racing. You've got to drive and push hard. Yes, you want to be there at the very end, but you got to be up front or close to the front to stay out of trouble. We've seen a lot of battles on that outside line, trying to get out there to the outside, down to the bottom and whatnot. We're going to see how this all shakes out, though, as the pace truck is about to head back down pit road. See a lot of folks over on YouTube. Again, appreciate you being here tonight. If you haven't already done so, make sure you give us a like, subscribe, comment, follow. Say hi in the chat. I'd love to talk with you. As the pace truck comes down pit road, Logan Coger, Mike Kelly on the front row. I'm sorry, Logan Coger, Mike Kelly. We're gonna get ready to go back green flag racing. Into the restart zone, the green flag back out. 20 laps remaining here at Talladega. Side by side, they roll through the corner. That was a fairly smooth restart for both lines. It's going to be a drag race down the backstretch. Who's going to have the best push? Right now, Kelly does. He's going to bring Pedro Mojica with him. We've not talked to Pedro in a while in that 50 car. He's looking to make a run there. Mike Kelly, new leader. He's going to move up the racetrack, though. He's still trying to pull that middle line. But here comes the bottom. Here comes Donaldson, Glenn Campbell as well. Wesley Donaldson has been in and out of the front five all night. And now he's gonna push Mike Kelly to lead that lap. 19 to go. Oh, car in the wall. Several cars spinning. Oh, that's gonna collect. Who was that? The 65 had nowhere to go. The 42 involved. Another caution. That just shows these drivers are having a hard time. Let's take a look here. May have started around Robert Tucker. Stephen Miles. Oh, Miles was able to hang on to it. What an impressive save by the 24. Meanwhile, though, the 42, the 25, and others go for a ride, bringing out the caution here again at Talladega. Pace truck's going to get caught up with the rest of the field. Mike Kelly, I believe, was leading as they came across. That caution came out. He's up 15 spots on the night. Wesley Donaldson, P2. A 19 machine driven by Tyler Dalton, our pole sitter. He has been trying to stay out of trouble. He's worked his way back up front. He's going to be finishing, or he's in third right now. Nelson Rivera, Glenn Campbell, your top five. Kevin Brown, Chad Coleman, Pedro Mojica, Josh Workhart, Randy Yoakum, your top 10. Logan Coger restarted up front that last time. He cycled all the way back to 11th. Brent Scott's back there with him as well. Another driver to pay close attention to is Justin Fuller. He's going to get caught up with this field. He's currently running 14th. We've seen him up front. We've also seen I think it was a Paul Crummery come off the nose of Fuller about 2 cautions ago. And we've not seen Fuller up front since, so that'll be something to pay close attention to. Again, under caution here. And we'll see who elects to come down. Mike Kelly flirting with that yellow line. He was one of the drivers that did come down lap 31, but I think they should be good on fuel. We'll find out. Yep, they will. Absolutely. So it'll be Mike Kelly, Wesley Donaldson, Nelson Rivera, Tyler Dalton. Your top 4. As we go back, green flag racing right around 16 to go. And yeah, it's a little bit of a tough race here tonight at Talladega. But that's okay, because it gives me a moment to talk about the Independence 500 once again. If you are interested, let me take a look here. I want to speak out of a place of certainty before we go too much further. Let's see here. Pulling it up. Just taking a look tonight. It looks like Friday night was bump night for the Independence 500. And that is going to fire off next Sunday night. If you haven't already checked it out, you certainly want to. Let me take a quick look here. You know what? I can't find it much more information, but that's okay. If you want to check out the information, head on over to sim500.com and do a search. Oh, here we go. Race information. There it is. It looks like they may still have a couple slots remaining. So I ask all of you to jump in. Head on over to sim500.com and look on the website. Get registered if you'd like to run. $10 entry fee. It is the 1987 Cup Cars at Daytona. 1 week from tonight. 200 laps. And it's going to be a great race to see. The Independence 500 brought to you by the Sim 500 group right here on Turn 1. That goes live at 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central next Sunday night. Mike Kelly going to be the leader on the restart here as they come back across the start finish line. Pace truck lights are off. That's a sign for these drivers to get staged up. We're going to step aside for about 20 seconds or so. Mike Kelly, Wesley Donaldson, Tyler Dalton, Glenn Campbell, your front two rows. They're going to roll through 3 and 4 and get ready to go green flag racing. They're going to have 15 laps to go at the stripe. Mike Kelly, Wesley Donaldson looking to lead here. We're looking to get a clean restart and a long green flag run. Do not want to count out the 19 car of Tyler Dalton. He's in the inside row, number 2. He's our pole sitter. He's looking for a win here. We talked about at the beginning of the broadcast. He has a little bit of a trouble wrapping him up, getting him, running him all the way to the end, being up front when it matters. Well, right now, he's 1 row away with 15 to go. In the restart zone, and the green flag's back out. Back racing here at Dega. Kelly's going to lead the charge on that inside line. A pretty strong start. Tyler Dalton's going to move right to the bumper. We've seen that be a little dangerous. They bridge a little bit of a gap there now. Here comes Donaldson on the outside. Believe that's going to be Kevin DeBrown on the shove. Donaldson. He's got some help on the outside. Here comes the third row starting to move into the play. They get rolled off into three. All of a sudden, 3 wide here at Talladega. That middle line, Donaldson's got a lead, but he's going to stay middle. He's going to try to come down. Not going to have the room. Meanwhile, the outside of Brent Scott, the 33 is going to make a move. Here comes Justin Fuller. Fuller all the way back up from, more importantly, Stephen Miles. Brent Scott all make a charge as they roll off into 1, 14 to go. Miles on the outside. He's got a lot of help there. Out of Pedro Mujica, I believe that's on the tail of that 24 it is. Here comes Zachary Foudy as well. We've seen what he can do up front. Now he moves to the bottom of the inside. John Schwarkart's there with him. Whoa, Fuller gets really loose. He's able to hang on to it. Side by side, they come through the tri-oval. Miles, Foudy. It's gonna be Miles by a nose. Stevens had a run of third place finishes, both in Cup and ARCA. He's looking to end that tonight, but here comes Pedro Mujica in the 50. That outside line has been getting some tall runs here tonight at Talladega. That has got to be a factor for some of these drivers. 3 wide. Oh, they got a lap car and a factor here. And Fuller's going to take advantage. He's going to take the lead with Stephen Miles on the bumper on the bottom. Zachary Foudy right there with him as well. Josh Schwarkart, Brent Scott. As they roll through the tri-oval. Here comes Schwarkart on the outside with the 33 on the push. Miles is going to move up and block the run. They're going to all abandon Fuller. Now the outside with a tow. Here comes Tyler Dalton. I believe that's Wesley Donaldson with him. And in that third line, Miles is going to move up to try to block. Schwarkart's going to go to the bottom. Rolling off into 3, and Schwarkart, Miles side by side. Dalton with the third line charge. He's all by himself though. He's going to lose momentum. Brent Scott glued to the bumper of the 24. The 44, Glenn Campbell has got Schwarkart. And now all of a sudden, there goes the 33 to the high line. He's going to pick up Dalton. Schwarkart leads, 11 to go. Nowhere is safe. 33 on the high line with Dalton. Miles is still leading the bottom. But out front right now, Schwarkart, he's going to move up. Going to try to pull Stephen Miles. That draft is going to create a big run here down the backstretch. Schwarkart's going to lose the lead, though. Here comes Glenn Campbell on the inside. Campbell's got, who is that with him? That's Mike Kelly. But Schwarkart leads. He brought Miles up to the front. And they're going to get clear. The 24 and the 1 link up. 10 laps to go. Now our top 4 single filed out. Kelly's looking to the high line, trying to bring somebody with him, but he's not going to be able to. All of a sudden, that middle line and the outside is stalled out. It's going to take him about half a lap to get back collected. I believe that's Fuller that just jumped out. Fuller's going to try to grab somebody. He's going to pick up Logan Coger in the 80. The 1's going to continue to lead, though, on the bottom. He's got the 24 tied to the bumper. 4-car single file, then they start 2 by 2. That's Donaldson and Kelly. 4 to go. Lap car down on the bottom. The field's going to squeeze by. 9 laps remaining here at Talladega for the Sunday Night Thunder Sim 500 group. Back and forth they go down the backstretch. Everybody jockeying for position. Koger's going to be out on that high line. Zachary Foudy's going to make contact with the wall. He's going to potentially lose the draft. Koger is not clear, tries to move down. Meanwhile, Stephen Miles out front. Where did John Schwerkart go? He is falling through the field. On that inside line, Stephen Miles at the 24. Out front by 2 car lengths, 8 to go. Here comes Mike Kelly on the bottom. Miles picked up Glenn Campbell. And that's Kevin DeBrown in that third car, or the third machine there, the 93. He's going to look outside. Miles is going to move up and block the run. Miles is going to pick him up. Then he's going to put him down. They're going to lose that run. Here comes the 33 of Brent Scott. Kevin DeBrown leads on the outside. He's going to have some help from the 38 and the 80. Chad Coleman in the picture all of a sudden. DeBrown leads, 7 to go. Out of nowhere comes the 93 rather, and the 38 of Coleman. That bottom line losing a ton of time. Miles just looking to try to find a run. He moves up in front of Foudy, nearly makes contact. We stay green here as they go to 7 to go to Brown. Up front, Chad Coleman out of nowhere. Logan Koger, Stephen Miles leading that outside line. Nobody down on the bottom for the first 6, 7, 8 cars now. Now the bottom is almost completely dissolved. We've seen this top line be pretty dominant. Now Stephen Miles is going to jump out. He's going to jump on the train. A run starting to build on the bottom. There goes, who was that? Chad Coleman. Coleman's going to jump out. The Brown's going to be in trouble. He's going to fall back to Koger. Coleman's going to lead the bottom as they roll out of 2. Coleman's going to try to control, but Stephen Miles with a huge run on the outside. But he's by himself. Cars on the apron. Everybody's going to hang on to it. It's 2 and 3 1 chaos here at Talladega. Miles on the outside now. Koger on the bottom with Kevin DeBrown. They're going to come through the tri-oval. The outside lane's going to lead. Chad Coleman's going to bring up 5 laps remaining. Oh, Coleman's going to go for a ride. Hang on to it. No. Another car comes down at the same time. That's the 45. That's going to bring the caution out. And I believe Wesley Donaldson was leading at the time. And that unfortunate event, that was Kevin DeBrown also got connected and collected in that. All happened off the nose of the 24, Stephen Miles. We saw Paul Crumbery mention in the chat that could happen. And unfortunately, it's going to bring the caution out with 4 to go. What a wild turn of events here. This is going to take us to NASCAR overtime, I do believe. We will confirm that. No, it'll have to. Stephen Miles right now. Wesley Donaldson, John Schwerkart, Logan Koger, Nelson Rivera, your top 5. Hey, Alex Grog, thanks so much for being here on YouTube or on Facebook tonight, Alex. Yeah, it looked like you were having a lot of fun. It looks like these cars are really tough in the bump draft, though. Sorry to see you got collected in that incident, but thanks for being here and thanks for tuning in. Steven Miles in that 24 is looking to break the streak of the top three of the second and third place finishes. He wants to bring home the victory. Can he get it done? Well, he's going to have to do it through overtime. We're going to step aside and come right back for NASCAR Overtime in the Sim 500 group right here at Talladega. You're watching Turn 1. Getting ready to go back. Green flag racing here. NASCAR overtime in effect. We'll talk about that in a moment. Alex, man, hey, thanks so much for tuning in. And again, appreciate the comments, and I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Again, glad or sad you can't be here to finish it out as we get ready to go back. Green flag racing in NASCAR overtime. Stephen Miles, Wesley Donaldson going to be on the front row. John Schwerkart, Logan Koger, row number 2. And then it's going to be Nelson Rivera, Zachary Foudy. NASCAR overtime is going to be in effect. They're going to see the green flag as they come across the stripe. If they make it back around before a caution comes out to the start-finish line, they'll see the white flag, and it's on from there. It's a race all the way to the end, and it's anybody's race to win. But if they see a caution, they'll re-rack it, try it again. Steven Miles has looked strong up front. Can he break the streak of top threes? We're going to find out. Green flag back out. We're in overtime for Sim 500. It takes 2 laps for these cars to get up to speed, so they won't even be up to speed by the time they take that white flag. Oh, we got a car on the wall. We're going to stay green. That's going to break the field up a bit. And here comes John Schwerkart. He had a lot of help there. Who was that? That's Nelson Rivera. With a shove to the outside. That's going to bring Fuller up front. The 1 car back to the front here. Fuller's going to be there. Donaldson's there as well. Miles gets cycled all the way back to 6th. The 1's going to lead. Fuller's going to look to the outside. He's going to have some help from Donaldson. Anybody's race as they come through the tri-oval and see the white flag one more time around here in Dega. Fuller, Donaldson, Foudy, your top 3, and they've broken away from the 1. Fuller goes for a ride off the nose. He's going to avoid contact. Donaldson's going to lead. Here comes Seth Foudy down the backstretch of the 1. A Schwerkart as well. Everybody jockeying for position, but it's going to be Zachary Foudy by himself in the middle. Logan Coger's going to have a shove. Steven Miles is back up here. Coger goes to the inside. Miles picks up Foudy. A big blink there out of somebody, but it's going to be Zachary Foudy. Big run up front, and he's your winner here tonight in Talladega. What a finish. Out of the 30 car, Zachary Foudy. Steven Miles is going to finish 2nd place tonight. Randy Yoakum, your top 10, or your top 3 rather. Then it's Schwerkart. Schoonover recovered from that incident. He's going to finish 5th. Logan Coger's going to finish 6th. Donaldson, Rivera, Dalton, and Wild, your top 10. We're going to step aside and bring you some post-race coverage. Zachary Foudy, your winner here tonight at Dega. Another checkered flag falls, and unfortunately the driver of the 24 won't be the one claiming it. Steven Miles gonna finish in the top 2 again tonight. Steven, that's gotta be a disappointment considering it looked like the 24 had a lot of speed tonight.
Nah, not really, man. I'm more disappointed in turning Kevin Brown right there. I didn't even think I was really pushing him. I knew I was hot and I was off the gas, and I know how easy to turn somebody in these cars, but I figured I was one of the best ones to not do it, and I did it to him anyway, man, so apologies to him. But after that, I mean, I knew I was going to get freight train on the outside. I feel like the bottom was the safest place, and they got away from me there, but we was able to get back into the top 3, and right there out of 4. I mean, I think somebody blanked out or whatever, and I had no help to get them. So I just had to side draft and park the second place driver to get that point. But I'm pretty sure how the admins are, they're probably going to take 5 points from it from that caution right there. Usually I would claim it, but I didn't have time to go down pit road, and it wasn't no point with green-white checker. So just trying to get that win.
Steven, we heard tonight that the drafting, especially the bump drafting here in these ARCA cars, was tough tonight at Talladega. From your perspective, did that align up, and were you having trouble kind of matching those bumpers up, and ultimately that's what happened with Kevin?
Oh, no, my teammate told me I was perfectly matched up with him. It's just, it goes off of the connection of drivers. If both drivers got good connection, I mean, I didn't turn nobody the whole race, and I was able to push through the corners. It's just that freak accident of having just bad connection at that time, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened with Fuller on the last lap. And with the bump drafting, I'm pretty experienced, so I hang my hat on that. So that's why I feel real bad for Kevin Brown, and apologies to him again.
Stephen Miles going to finish second here tonight at Dega. Stephen, I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here real soon.
Have a good one, man.
See you, buddy. And with that, we'll talk to our winner here tonight. It's Zachary Fowley in victory lane. Zachary, congratulations. What a wild finish to that. Did you expect with 30 to go you'd be up front there when it mattered most?
Oh, man. It's hard to say. I felt pretty fast most of the night. A couple times I was up there, but I wasn't up there for long. These cars, they got a lot of pull, a lot of drag on them. So, you know, you get out there and then all of a sudden it acts like a parachute, you know. And I was up front, then I was, you know, completely in the back, just getting drugged. And no, I really didn't. I didn't know if we'd come out where we did.
Zach, we saw that outside line really be a momentum getter. Some big runs coming out of there. But we heard Stephen Miles mention the bottom was kind of the safe place to be. What did that mean for you tonight? Was the outside better than the inside? What did that look like from your perspective?
Oh man, yeah, the outside was quick. I mean, it's scary up there, right? Being up next to the wall, you know, if somebody down below wrecks, you got nowhere to go, you know. But it was quick. If you wanted to make a run, that outside lane was the way to go. The bottom was safer, but it was a lot slower too. So you were good in the turns, but as soon as you got out of those turns, I mean, that top line would take off.
Well, you were able to maintain it, keep it clean, a car clean relatively here tonight in that 30 machine, and finished 20 spots up to bring home the checkered flag. Zach Fowley, congratulations, winner at Dega.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll quickly talk to third place driver Randy Yoakum. Randy, congratulations. That 8 car wheeled it all the way up there to the top 3 at the very end. That's got to feel good considering how chaotic this field seemed pretty much tonight.
I tell you what, Sean, you just don't know what you're going to get when you come to a plate track, and it's a battle of survival, you know, and we're just glad to be there at the end, and made a few crafty moves and brought it home third place, man. Great finish for us.
Randy, we talked to both talked to Fowley and Miles, and they mentioned the runs here tonight as a factor. Drafting was tricky but manageable from your perspective. What was the run like, especially in those bigger packs as we saw up front, kind of going back and forth? It seemed like a lot of air moving around, causing a lot of disturbance for everybody.
It was a lot of air moving around. Surprisingly, the side draft would pull your car a lot more than what we're used to in other cars. And on that note, the run that you would get was actually very surprising. That you would end up with, even when you didn't think you would get a run. So I don't know if that was you getting a run or the other cars, getting impacted by the side draft. Not 100% sure, but it was pretty chaotic at times, and you had to be on top of the wheel if you were in traffic for sure.
Randy, final question for you. We saw a mix of pit strategies out of the top 3 here tonight, with a lot of drivers kind of staying where they were after lap 31. How critical was that track position? Whereas your last time down pit road was lap 39, so kind of in the middle there. What did that, obviously tire's not a huge factor here, but mostly fuel. Did you have a plan coming into this, and Was it kind of all thrown out the window, or did it kind of fall right in line where you wanted to be?
You know, you play it as the you read the race temperature, and you watch what's going on, and you get to a point where if you don't have damage and you don't have to pit, you just decide where you're going to run. You know, and that's really the only race strategy you need. You don't want to get too far behind and get too far out of the draft at a certain point. You want to be at a certain point with a few laps to go and whatnot. But hey, you know, it's getting a temperature where the race is at any given moment, and the bottom line is luck, baby. That's what it's all about.
Especially at these super speedways. Well, Randy, listen, luck, talent, the right wind direction, whatever it was, you were able to bring home that 8 car, 10 places up tonight into 3rd place. Congratulations, and we appreciate the time.
Absolutely, Sean. Thanks for what you do, buddy.
Absolutely. Randy Oakham finishes 3rd here tonight at Talladega for the Sim 500 Sunday Night Thunder Group right here on Turn 1. What a wild finish that these guys put on here at Talladega tonight. Now, let's talk about tomorrow evening. You're going to fly Turn 1 on. We're going to be on a little early, so make sure you're around. I believe the qualifying races kick off about 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern. You heard that right. 6:30 Eastern going live with the qualifying races for the Independence 500. That's the 1987 Cup cars at Daytona. We're going to have 2 qualifying races in the LCQ. You're not going to want to miss that action. Get tuned in. Subscribe, like, follow, do what you need to do to get connected with us. And until then, on behalf of the League of Admins with Sim 500, I'm Sean Fitz. We appreciate you being here. We'll see you tomorrow night for more racing action. Good night, everybody.